Pokemon community not spreading misinformation challenge? Impossible. So Sacred lost his mind because I called him out for posting garbage, and then we just get to see the toxicity and nonsense of the Pokemon community on full display once again. So yeah, the reaction is Game Freak finally expanding? I mean, that's already just completely wrong right there, but whatever. I take it back, y'all, because everything is about being toxic towards Game Freak and modern Pokemon games, even though none of it's valid when you actually break it down. Like, Pokemon Scarlet and Violet has no more glitches or lag than any other modern game. And the crazy thing to me is everyone was in agreement that the Nintendo Switch was underpowered when it released in 2017. And since then, games have only gotten more demanding as technology has become more powerful and accessible, but that never applies to Pokemon games. Nope, Game Freak's not allowed to get any slack for being stuck on the Nintendo Switch trying to make open-world monster-catching games. We're getting good Pokemon games back, again, because no one's just allowed to be honest. And now it's going the other direction. But now we're watching the social media attention cycle keep on turning, because suddenly people are saying favorable things about Pokemon Sword and Shield. Wow, National Dex never mattered, and you can't hate a game for having a bad tree graphic. But that was the only thing you were allowed to do back in 2019. So the original tweet that got people all excited was this: Game Freak announced they're holding a big recruitment event on August 30th. Planners, designers, programmers, artists, and more. Game Freak only has about 200 to 250 employees. Considering the series they manage, it isn't enough. Which is just a straight up lie. Game Freak and the Pokemon Company have multiple support game development studios working towards Pokemon games, and multiple teams within Game Freak and those studios making Pokemon games, which is why it's insane. Like, these people actually believe Game Freak is making a Pokemon game in a year, instead of actually the 3 to 4 year development cycle every Pokemon game has had, because there's multiple teams. Then we have like 3DCG, Creatures, Ilka, other support studios. No. And then it's like, they think it's only Game Freak, and a hiring drive is going to change any of that. So it isn't enough. Neither is the time they have to release games. All of this is a lie. The games everyone complains about had enough time and launched finished, but just the derangement of the Pokemon community and the default hate that everyone but me has is just insane. And then it gets even weirder, because Joe Merrick has me blocked. He's done witch hunting and cancellations against me, even though I'm the only other person in the Pokemon community that tries to stay informed, is against misinformation, is against lying, clickbaiting, fake leaks, and all of that other stuff. So yet he's still against me, but also still trying to, like, clear up the misinformation that's going on. And they says what this is. The thing with this whole Game Freak recruitment drive news going around is that it's common. They do this frequently, multiple times a year, with jobs for various different levels of experience. I don't know why this one has gotten a lot of attention, because the Pokemon community is lost. It's beyond saving at this point from all the fake information, misinformation, clickbait, hype, toxicity, and just overall nonsense. There is no semblance of reality left inside of the Pokemon community. And that even goes into VGC competitive people still not being able to accept the fact that Wolfey VGC is a cheater. So as a large Poketuber that's been around for a while, I would expect Sacred to be more responsible and less toxic. And that's why I felt that this was correct to call out. Game Freak isn't expanding, means nothing for the games. Stop lying. Because again, they're always doing this. So like, they keep doing recruitment drives, they keep expanding their other support studios, and everyone keeps crying and complaining about the games because they have no idea how game development works. This doesn't change anything, just because for some reason this post of the exact same thing that's always happened multiple times for years, that has even been covered multiple times for years, got more attention. Now everyone's losing their mind because the Pokemon community can only exist to be negative. Also, people say I can't take criticism, but I like bring the facts to Sacred and he goes straight into delirium. I asked a question, lying, Lamau, what? Ha 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 ha, you're so cool, Tony. Like, what is this? Like, that is a complete breakdown from not being able to handle valid criticism. And also, in context, this isn't a question. This is a statement with a question mark at the end of it, and also all of the other weight behind this with the negativity, where it's like, oh, because people don't understand this, it means we're finally getting good Pokemon games and Game Freak is finally expanding. No, like, this is just wrong information. Now, this is where we get into what a lie is, because on the internet, a lie accusation is going to be false most of the time, because people don't understand that a lie needs to be a deliberate, false-spoken statement. Now, my interpretation of Sacred's tweet is that it's so completely wrong, especially because of all the history and how this has been talked about many times, that Game Freak has multiple development teams, Pokemon games are not developed in a year, all of these people are just wrong and deranged, but they keep pushing this narrative. So, like, his tweet is so wrong that it has to be a willful dispersal of misinformation. But okay, Hanlon's razor, I guess. And then, like, I'm just saying, like, yo, here's the reality of this. Dude gets delirious. I try to justify, like, alright, maybe it isn't a lie by definition. That means it's just, like, straight incompetence, despite making Pokemon videos for longer, and still just refuses. But now we just have such an extreme irresponsibility as a Poketuber that it's unacceptable and a valid criticism regardless that they still can't accurately interpret information based on Pokemon, and they hype up misinformation. So that's so offensive, it gets this response. Yo, Tony, hear me out. I make Pokemon videos for me. I'm not a news channel, and I don't care about spreading misinformation. At that point, that should be like immediately over. Verlisify wins. Verlisify always right. My criticism is valid because you should care about spreading misinformation. It doesn't matter. Like, once you make it to a certain point, you have influence. Once you are a Pokemon influencer, you need to take responsibility. And then this just seems like the straight, like, on top of the initial tweet, and then this reaction, like, this has to be the lie. To pretend that there's no accountability or no other influence in putting any kind of Pokemon information out there, whatever. It's not my job for other people to read. Read what? You're the one that doesn't read real information and spreads misinformation. I don't... What? That does... What? None of this makes sense. Go focus on rebuilding the bond between you and your family, instead of making Pokemon drama videos in 2024. And even then, like, okay, it's drama to say cheating is wrong. Still. And that's just lies. Like, just like, oh yeah, I need to make drama videos to rebuild the bond between you and my family. Like, that's when you start getting, like, crazy projection. This dude is... The box just immediately went because I replied to him. That's the power of Verlisify in the Pokemon community. I can make anyone delirious by just bringing them the truth, or holding them accountable, or having a slight criticism, and then that's what they accuse me of. Yet I can remain lucid and still defend my point, or show where someone else is wrong in all of this. You exist in this weird echo chamber where you're the joke and have this weird superiority complex. You're the one that literally in the previous tweet said you don't care about spreading misinformation. I'm the one that's trying to be honest and report on correct information and not, like, spread misinformation, lie, clickbait, cheat, steal. That's not superiority complex. That's just being a good person. It's like, congratulations, everyone in Pokemon just chooses evil because it's easier and has less resistance. It's been this way since 2015, which just really seems like an arbitrary time because everyone hated me still in 2013 because I said, hey, Smogon isn't official, and the way that they do their ban just makes it a completely uncompetitive baby format. None of that's incorrect, so it's like, echo chamber spirit, where is this coming from? Stop being an ass online. As, like, we're getting into, you know, just this, oh, Verlisify replied, I can just be toxic back, and then my toxic audience is going to bandwagon onto this. But I don't take it, it's not my responsibility what other people do, because I'm just doing this for me, as they're being an ass this entire time, alright. Trying to police people on what they should be hyped about and what they should post. Lies and fake information is not something to be hyped about. Like, again, like, why is honesty the bad thing in the Pokemon community? And then we can see from the likes and stuff, people are just happy to bandwagon hate onto this one, so haven't seen a single good video on you ever. Okay, now this dude's just like a liar confirmed and proven. And it's the great lie that every one of my haters has just opted into because, like, I'm not allowed to have a single valid point ever. I'm not allowed to be in the right ever, no matter how many times I've proven right, no matter how many cheaters get caught, no matter how accurate my information is. And also, out of almost 6,000 videos, not a single good video. That means, like, you're only living for hate and negativity. You are living for what you accuse me of. If you can't find one good video out of 6,000 or whatever, like, that's just actually impossible to happen, and it's just completely wrong anyway. You've switched gaming communities and still get slandered, which is also another lie. My Lego Fortnite, Elden Ring, and Pal World content has been massively loved, especially my Elden Ring guides. Like, you go into the comment section of my Elden Ring guides and everyone's, oh my god, dude, thank you, I was struggling so much with this boss or finding this item, you just saved me hours of my life, you're the best, sub. Like, I haven't seen support like that since before everyone in the Pokemon community went crazy. Pal World has been generally positive. Same thing for Lego Fortnite. So, no, it's not that. And I guess they're quoting, like, Smash, because, okay, Smash is also just a toxic fighting game cesspool. Cool. And then Animal Crossing, which is also really weird. So my Animal Crossing content got, like, giga suppressed because of dislike botting, which makes it harder to find an audience that's going to appreciate my content. But on top of that, like, I didn't start the Star Tree things. The reason why I made the videos, I saw other people crying about it because they were already doing something against the rules and getting banned. But I get blamed for the people Streisanding affecting themselves. Whatever. So yeah, I can just easily and clearly prove that all this is lies, but it's mind-boggling that you just haven't grown up whatsoever. So I'm the one that hasn't grown up, even though I'm just like proving all these lies and just like this straight inability to accept any criticism or do the right thing once ever in Pokemon. God forbid a Poketuber does that. You would think your channel declining, you having to get a real job would be karma enough. Grow up. When did this lie come through? Like, this is like the dropped out of high school thing. They actually think I'm working a 9 to 5 now, and that's karma? And the channel decline has already been proven to be dislike botting, and then also like weird manual YouTube shadow banning for non-violations and stuff. Yeah, and also YouTube allowing like rule-breaking content against me, like all of the harassment and defamation and stuff. So okay, like just non-valid reasons as to why my channel has declined that it has been shown. Whatever, instead of focusing on Pokemon YouTubers you disagree with, focus on getting therapy and fixing a relationship with your family. Bro, that's some crazy projection. You've been on Earth longer than me, still haven't grasped that Pokemon isn't life anymore. What is this? And then they talk about me having some kind of superiority complex. They're like, well, I don't take Pokemon seriously, so I'm just better than you. Seek help. Go talk to your family. Like, what? But also, that just kind of shows I'm even more right that it's wrong to have such apathy towards spreading misinformation. Because I still care about Pokemon. I think that this is worth something to still keep morals over, and it's really cool if, like, Pokemon is your life, and you're able to, like, I'm still my 6-year-old hero right now. It was not possible in the 90s, or didn't seem like it was possible to ever be, like, a Pokemon master. I'm a Pokemon master as a job, and it's been pretty good, except for, you know, the dislike botting and stuff. My opportunities and income have been higher than any other possibility I had on the table. So yeah, Pokemon is actually life, and if it wasn't for, like, all of this nonsense, hate, and toxicity, it would be even more so. Whatever. Who cares about this, Grandpa? Like, this is the reaction of a toxic kid that never grew up, that never wants to take accountability, that is also just completely in the wrong and has no way to defend themselves, but has loved this hateful culture that they have created with their influence. That's kind of insane. So to me, and like, says I don't give an F about spreading misinformation, then says I'm the joke, like, and then says I'm in the echo chamber where you can see, like, it's his bubble of toxicity, and then all the replies are just reacts or thinking this dude made a point when I just debunked it, because again, no one in Pokemon can live in any sort of reality or not be toxic because they're terminally online. So like, yeah, I guess that buried me somehow. Please respond. I did respond. And then, like, all this other stuff, cooked, owned, and then just NPCs. Like, so we have toxic NPCs funneling in after this complete non-point that he's made. Okay. And also the weirdness of haters when they think, like, they have something on you by calling you by your name instead of your online name. Like, you're not getting any superiority, you're not getting through on any extra level. You're just kind of showing a disrespect. It's not dead naming, but not going by my preferred online alias. Read this for me. I want you to read this. Not try to think of reply, just read. You're the only one who cares. I just showed Joe Merritt caring, and I guess his audience cares, and a lot of people are tired of seeing misinformation get spread on Pokemon community. That just makes Pokemon more dead and harder to enjoy. You're the only one that cares. Anything you cried about in a video, it's only you. Seek inner peace and be well. It's like, again, just more lies to ignore. It's like, yes, it somehow in this person's mind, I'm the only person that thinks cheating is wrong in Pokemon. It really feels like that, and it is really wrong when it's like 95% of the community thinks cheating is justified, but still, like, why am I in the wrong for doing the right thing? That's just how backwards Pokemon is. So yeah, if I'm the last man on Earth believing 2 + 2 = 4, doesn't make me wrong. Don't know how you think you're in the right for being against me fighting for people to do the right thing. whether it's not spread misinformation, not lie and fake leak and cheat and steal and all that stuff. And then it gets extra better because, oh yeah, we actually did a video together, Why Sacred Almighty Plays Pokemon. You become the franchise you're in love with when you love what you're doing. So he's just like, grow up, none of this matters, this isn't life, when he was just lying about his passion to try to get some fans when he did a video with me.
I'm excited, dude. I'm excited
Awesome.
for the future. I'm excited for content. I just hope everybody is cool. At the end of the day, I just hope everybody's cool.
You should listen to yourself and care more. And then he blocked me. And the response to me actually just like completely shutting him down, stop it, get some help. And the crazy thing to me is that it's Sacred. This person threatened to assault me at PAX. He said if I see Verlis at PAX, I am fading him on sight. It was such a credible threat, PAX staff took it seriously. So there's that. Also, this person has actually told people to drink bleach in no unspecific terms. So I never did that, and then the Pokemon community has to cancel me for that, say I'm like trying to promote self-harm against people, when Sacred has actually said it in video. He's the one that straight up told people who disagree with him to drink bleach, yet I'm the one that gets canceled. He's the one making violent threats against people. He's the one spreading misinformation, cultivating a toxic audience, not being able to just take the call out when being called out to lie, and then everyone's like mad at me when I've done nothing wrong, and there's still been zero evidence of me doing any of the things people accuse me of in the Pokemon community, or enough to actually be worth hating to this degree. I'm just going to finish this video by playing this video, because then you can just kind of see like the insanity where it's like, oh, Verlisify never talks to anyone, or Verlisify can't get along with anyone in the Pokemon community. It's like, no, we can see this conversation, and then you see the reaction from Sacred. Also, this was supposed to be like a double upload where we just upload the same video to each other's channels because collaboration and stuff, and trying to bring the Pokemon community back together, because this was after Nappy got outed for being a groomer. So it's like, oh yeah, maybe Verlisify isn't that bad after all. But nope, you're not allowed to have that thought for 1 second. So he couldn't handle the backlash, and again, just like further lies about me and misinformation. So he took down the video, despite us talking for a few days and having a good conversation. I thought I found a sincere Pokemon fan. Turns out this was all lies because he only cares about money. And those are the kind of accusations that made a lot of people hate me, even though it's right. Like, okay, Sacred was always a bad actor. Like, always a bad actor, and you can tell from this and then the following engagement years later. Okay, so I just want to try this out, you know, get everyone accompanied with each other in the YouTube community or the Poketubing community, and I have Sacred with me right now. So the idea of this is we're going to talk, we're going to get to know each other, and that's kind of for our audiences as well. So the big question that I'm going to ask anyone that comes on this series is, why do you play Pokemon?
Okay, so Pokemon was always one of those games, like, I had the luxury of having pretty much a decent family, where it was just like they all had income coming in, so they just kind of just spoiled me and my brothers, so we just ended up just buying and having video games. But Pokemon in particular was always just a game series that, like, I enjoyed personally. And then, you know, I always kept up to date with everything. I watched all the movies. I love the manga, the Adventures manga.
Same. Oh my god, Pokemon
that
Adventures.
Stuff is too good, dude.
So good. Because that's a real Pokemon.
Yeah, I guess exactly how it should be. But of course, obviously, you know, it appeals to so many different demographics. Of course, it has to just be different. But I just love, like, just Pokemon in general. It's the one series that I think I stuck with as time just went on. And, you know, fortunately enough, I guess here we are on YouTube. And if anything, I feel like YouTube has made me enjoy Pokemon a lot more than I already did, because I uploaded, you know, I basically am Pokemon now. So it's kind of just like, you know, I guess you kind of become the franchise you're in love with. So therefore you love what you're doing.
Yeah.
So I guess I just playing it. I've always played it since I was like, I don't know, probably like 6-7 years old.
Dude, exact same. Except the only way I can disagree with you is I think YouTube has made me enjoy Pokemon a little less. Because okay. I used to just be like raw, unfiltered, even though that's still pretty much my channel. I used to just like go in and I would grind out, you know, so many hours, just like 5-6 hours a day breeding in Generation 4, maybe even like 8 hours a day just breeding in Generation 4 when it was impossible.
The good days.
Yeah, and that was also like, yeah, the good days. You know, when you could go online, you have to go to like forums, you have to go and like search
The
for
old
people to battle.
Maryland forums and the
Yeah.
old dude. Oh my god.
Bulba forums and Cerebi
Yeah.
and stuff. Or if I wanted to be like, you know, kind of hot that day, I just go on to Smogon and be like, I don't lose games. Let's go. You know, you really fire those people up. So I mean, like those were the days. And I feel like now, because it's my job, I have less time to do raw Pokemon enjoyment, and I have to like, you know, spend a couple hours editing, spend a couple hours like making videos and stuff and uploading. But other than that, yeah, it's like pretty much Pokemon hit. It landed as like the perfect adventure fantasy, and then I got good at it, and I was like, this is just the best thing ever. You know, you want to become a master, you train things, and then like you get to pick your favorites and win. GG.
I think that's the one thing I enjoy about Pokemon the most is like you can pretty much just jump in at any generation and pretty much get the same experience doing whatever you want to do, whether it's like, you know, breeding or just regularly playing through the game or even competitive. Like you can just do whatever you want.
Mm-hmm.
There's a vast variety of mons that you could just play through however you want, and they all end up being like somewhat viable in some way, shape, or form.
Yeah. So that was kind of like the idea of how we start off this kind of video. Anything else you want to say about yourself when it comes to like Poketubing? Just kind of.
I'm more on the
level it out.
Let's Player side of everything. I think I like to dabble in some stuff. Obviously, like obviously, you know, when news comes out, you know, you obviously got to cover the newest thing. So of course, you got to keep up to date with that. And sometimes Wi-Fi, you know, just usual introduction Poketuber stuff. Honestly,
Yeah. All right. So following that up, what is the favorite video that you've made? Like your favorite video, or one of the top 5 or something that you're just so proud of. That's like, you know what? This is why I do it. This is all my passion. This is just an awesome video.
ironically enough, it's a game that's not Pokemon, but it's inspired off of it.
Oh.
So you know how you go online and you see like these bootleg Pokemon games where they just basically just taking all the assets and just putting it on like a
Yes.
MMO style game on the phone or whatever. That stuff makes me mad, by the way, but I'm just like, okay, whatever. So I literally was just looking through all the clones, so I was gonna make a video regarding like, you know, that type of stuff anyway, because I don't like that at all. I kind of don't like the fact that they pretty much just took these models and just put it on the phone and are like charging money for it. That's dumb. But I saw this game, and it's a game called Nexomon, and it's an inspired Pokemon game, but everything about it is new. It reminds me, it has that same like charm that Pokemon did for me as a child, and
Right.
I was really thrown off when I like uploaded the part 1 of it. I uploaded the part 1 as like a showcase video. I was like, if this video does good, I'll do a series, but I just want to showcase what this game is all about, because it's actually really, really unique. And the I guess the passion for not only like, I guess, the content, but also just why I do this kind of sparked up, and it was anything more evident than ever, because when that video went up, within like the first 2 or 3 hours, it was already at like 30,000 views. I was confused.
Holy
I'm like,
crap.
yeah, I'm like, whoa. I'm like, why are people gravitating towards this video so much? You know, this is around the time when, like, you know, the whole, Pokemon is stale, so we're not gonna play it or we're not gonna watch it thing is going on. So I just was like, damn, why did this video that's obviously it's not Pokemon, but it's still somewhat, you know, inspired off of it, so it's still like copy and pasted. It's like, why did this video just do really, really good? I have no idea, but this must mean that the people like it, so I'm gonna continue it. And it was just such a vocal, popular series of mine, and it was just, I had fun recording every single episode.
That's
And
great to hear.
it was just fun seeing people interact with the videos. It was fun seeing comments every single day, and they were like waiting for the uploads. It was just really, really, it was so cool to me. I'm like, this is exactly why I do that. I love it. I love entertaining people. You know, I love playing games and having fun with them. It was like I was literally doing everything that I already set out to do on YouTube, and it worked.
Those are the best videos. So this is where I'm going to throw you through a plot twist. I didn't tell you
to
about
me.
this part. So I'm going to give you one of my favorite videos, and then I'm going to watch that video of yours. We're going to take like a little break, and then we're going to come back, and we're just going to kind of like reflect on that. All right. So what kind of video do you want? Do you want like a sick competitive battle? Do you want trivia? What kind of content do you want from Verlisify?
Give me your best, whatever you can throw at me. Honestly,
All right.
Surprise me.
All right, pop off.
The battle was great. That battle was really, really cool. I like how you definitely knew what you were doing, and then like he was just dude, that last the Rotom and the Sableye, amazing. I was just sitting there, I'm just like, who's gonna win this, dude?
I
I
feel
love
like
moments
that's
like
yeah.
that.
I feel like that's the epitome of like my skill and understanding of Pokemon because when I broke down the win conditions, I'm like, okay,
You
hopefully
definitely had
anyone
it.
can understand what's going on.
You definitely had it because at that point it was just mind games. Who's gonna hit recover first? Is he gonna taunt? Okay, is he gonna hydro pump? And he did it, and I'm like, oh my god, here we go. I love it. I love it. I love it. I love it. I love it.
Awesome. Your video was really cool too because it went from like this meme thing where it's like, yeah, you all hate the ads, and then you broke it down really well. Like what, the first 7 minutes or something of that video was like, and then you played and then you played the intro and the trailer of it and stuff. I was like, all right. And like that's how you build up that investment. And then your commentary was pretty funny too. When you're like, yo, step off. Like, yo, that got violent.
Yeah,
Like, those reactions were crazy.
It was so, like I said, it threw me off because I was like, this game actually is not that bad. I'm like, wait a minute,
yeah,
what's going on? And then the response, you saw the stuff, it was there. I'm like, oh my god, like
that video was fun.
Exactly, and that's what I love. It's just fun. At the end of the day, it's just fun.
All right, good stuff. So those will be in the description down below. Following that up, what kind of content do you like watching most in Pokemon then?
Oh my god, dude, I am a humongous like lore guy when it comes to Pokemon. I love it. I love sitting down. I love theorizing like timelines and how stuff like links in with each other and where certain things are gonna like go in or whatever. And then sometimes I like to mix it up because sometimes people like to most recently the Space World demo and then those like old beta designs or whatever, people like to like just talk about cut content that were in the older games. Just really like to watch those videos because it's one of those things where it's like, here's the final product, but then here's what could have been and what was in there before. And so I just like watching that. Like those two probably have to like tie for some of my favorite Pokemon content, especially the lore stuff. I just love it.
Yeah, I'm like not super crazy on the lore as much as I am just like the deep trivia. Because with lore, I feel like a lot of people, well, it's kind of the same, but my interpretation of lore is like when people try to take it further than is stated in the game and they like theorize beyond the lore. I'm not too big of a fan of that. But when it comes to just like the deepest knowledge anyone can discover about Pokemon, I love it. Because like all of my Gen 4 days when I was talking about just being nothing but playing Pokemon and stuff, I was also all the time on Bulbapedia. I just hit random articles until I learned things.
Yes. Oh my god. And honestly, Bulbapedia is like the place I go to like for a lot of the cut content stuff because it has everything.
Yeah, like you just stumble into a page, it's like beta Pokemon, and then from there it's like, oh, capsule monsters.
Exactly.
And then from there you just
see the old manga images and stuff, and it's like, whoa, what is this?
Well, that's lore I love when you're like into that deep manga lore. Oh
yes. Oh my. And then let's not talk about the manga, dude. Oh my god.
Yeah, we'd be here for many more hours. Because I read all of it up until like Heart Gold Soul Silver arc, and then it started getting hard to find.
Yeah, I don't know what happened because I know like they're in X and Y, and then next thing I know they're in Sun and Moon, and I'm like, where's like what happened?
Yeah, and also I wasn't a big fan of Generation 5, so I just kind of wanted to skip over the black and white and that. Your first, like whenever you get that first grind through the manga, I think that's what we're talking about. You run it down, couple generations, and you just love every bit of it. Like one of the things I did. One of the things I did at the end of one of my videos was I was breaking down the lore of all the legendary Pokemon that appeared in the Pokemon Adventures manga. When it's like, this chick in the Raikou and she's in the games and all these things. And by the way, Blaine has a Mewtwo. There's a real Master Ball shenanigans going down. Like, that's the fun stuff.
It's real crazy. It's really crazy when people are like, like in the anime and like, I guess the games adaptation, like Fuji kind of help. He's like the guy behind Mewtwo, but then you find out, oh my god, Blaine is like a big, humongous part of that in the manga. It's like, whoa, but then nobody would know that unless you read the manga.
But at the same time, you can also kind of like see that's how it happened in the games.
Yeah,
it's like the link that isn't stated. Like you have to learn about it to learn that it's there, but then you realize it because to open the gym, you have to go into the mansion where they did the Mewtwo experiments, and that's how you get the key.
Exactly.
So you learn about Blaine's history, but he doesn't tell you that it's his history.
Yeah, like he doesn't tell you himself. You have to go through and immerse yourself in it like yourself. And the more you learn through different other avenues, the more if anything, more invested you get into the
Hmm.
games and the series itself.
Yeah. And then the manga is like, oh, by the way, that's not theory. It's like kind of confirmed, you know.
Yeah, they're
All right.
connected, by the way, by blood and whatever. It's like what?
Yeah. Other content I'm down with is like old school J-Wits trivia kind of stuff. I feel like trivia's kind of become a little too mainstream to a degree. So whenever I put out a trivia video, I try to make it beyond what people understand. Because like there was that trend back in 2016 when like Pokemon Sun and Moon had all that news coming out, where one person would do a video and then everyone else would copy that video, like the beta Pokemon designs, like
Yes.
the Shuckle videos and stuff. So when that happened, it was like, I'm not as big of a fan of trivia, but like old school first time Pokemon trivia, that's the dope content. Moving on. That you want to move on? I think we've
Yeah, let's
spent
go.
enough time on that. All right. Thoughts on Pokemon Sword and Shield? Just give me the rundown, not like your full 10-minute ad revenue recap about the trailers or anything. Just like right now, how do you feel?
There's so much. I feel like they're playing it safe by not giving us any information.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like that's, if anything, that's what a lot of people like, you know, because everybody complains about how we got like too much information for Sun and Moon, and how like they were like very disappointed when they got the full thing. And I understand that. I get it. Trust me, I understand. And then when we got Ultra Sun, Ultra Moon, it was like, oh, you know, we didn't get less, or they didn't have anything, or they showed everything too early. And after we got that, it was everything they had. And then when Let's Go came out, it was like we knew about Let's Go like damn near a year, couple months before the actual announcement.
Yeah.
That leak came out, and we were all like, "This is fake." Next thing you know, here's a trailer. We're like, "Oh my god!" So I like how they're very, 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 very shut about like just the Sword and Shield stuff. And I think the games themselves, off of what we've seen and what we know, regarding I guess the starters, where it's based off of, you know, the off the region map, and how everything's going with the gym captains or whatever. I feel like it's going to be, it has potential to, if not be some of the best Pokemon games we get, lead into whatever they have in mind. Because, you know, Game Freak's, I guess, excuse all the time for the past, like since X and Y, has always been the limitations of the 3DS.
Yeah.
They've always
3DS
talked
sucks.
about it, where it's just like, oh yeah, we can't do what we always want because of 3DS, the hardware. So now that we're on a better console, I feel like they can finally put everything they've ever wanted into these games, and I feel like that is where the games are going to get better, and if anything, more immersive for the people who are playing, because now, you know, now there's newer stuff, new content that you all can get ingested in and just involved. And I just feel like it's going to be amazing. I feel like the games have so much potential. And if not these games in particular, the next games after.
Yeah. I can see that because like Game Freak needs to grow. You know, they've been in the same thing forever, and 3DS has limited them. So it might take, you know, they could already have it down for Sword and Shield, which would be incredible, but it might take them that extra game to learn, develop,
Which is
and
fine.
then make it to where they can make everything they want on the next one.
Exactly. And I feel like a lot of people, I don't know, for me personally, I feel like a lot of people kind of, you know, give Game Freak too much flack for like not making the game that they want. And it's kind of just like, you know, like you like they have a vision of how they want their games to be, you know, and they're gonna make the games. But if they're limited, they're limited. You can't like, nobody wins at that point.
Exactly.
So hardware being like a big thing and a big reason why, and they always talk about it. They talked about it literally since X and Y. Since we're on a whole new console, we're not in the handheld generation no more. We're good.
All right, yeah.
And if it,
I disagree with you a bit on what you had to say about just like too much information. I feel Pokemon Sun and Moon gave like the perfect amount of information because the launch was hype, the build up was hype. Getting a trailer every week and a half was super hype. Like it kept the hype up. And I feel like what hurt Pokemon Sun and Moon more was the game being data mined and pirated and hacked before it came out. Not that there was too much information.
I think I 100% agree. I 100% agree on that, because I remember not even like the games got leaked out 2 weeks before the actual release.
Yeah, and then Pika Hex was available a week before.
Exactly, and everybody knew everything about the games. All the Pokemon got showed off. Pretty much the entire plot got showed off. Everything was pretty much just out there, and it's like, wow, if you really wanted to go look for it, you can go look for it. It's right there for everybody to see because everybody covered it. Obviously, we're not gonna not cover it, but it's kind of just like, I guess the experience just kind of it lost it.
Yeah.
It definitely lost everything that we all planned out, honestly.
And I feel the problem is people blame the news cycle more than they should when it comes to that, because they revealed like half of the Pokemon, but we didn't expect the Pokedex to be so small. So like hopefully Pokemon Sword and Shield we top like 90 to 100 Pokemon again. I think that'd make people feel a lot better, because then we could get 40 Pokemon reveals, and it won't feel like too many are being taken up. But like, I just want to see like non-stop news, because I'm like, if it's a bigger game, they can reveal like the same percentage of Pokemon Sun and Moon information, and then still not spoil the game. Because outside of the hacks, outside of the piracy and data mining and all that stuff, like, you still have to play the game to learn how the features work. You can see almost all the Pokemon before reveal, but you're not going to be able to like experience with those Pokemon. I think the hands-on is worth more than just kind of like the spoilers that Game Freak gives. So I'm a little upset that they're being this conservative, even though with the map and the trailer, they've already given more information than like the first 2 trailers of Sun and Moon.
You can take that whole like map and just start theorizing pretty much how the game's gonna go, and it may just be different than what actually happens. I think that's what I think the mystery of it is just where I'm into it, where it's like that. Like, if you're not gonna show a lot of information, that's fine. What you give us is good enough to keep us hyped. Like, I feel like theorizing and speculating is, I guess, for me, probably what makes Pokemon just what it is for me, because it's just a humongous thing where it's like there's so much they can do. They give you, like, you give somebody so little, and they can make at least 100 theories. When we got the first trailer and the first map image, there was so many Shield and Sword videos that were just about like, oh, landmarks, what Pokemon could be up in it that are native to that area, and then native to, I guess, the lore in the UK and Europe over there. And it's just like, this is so cool. Like, I love that. I love it.
We had that with Pokemon Sun and Moon, like when all that Hawaii stuff popped off.
Yes,
it was like,
dude.
Yo, we didn't even see a trailer. We got like some screenshots, and
that kind of makes me mad, because people see that and they're like, oh, Poketubers are just being thirsty. It's like, no, let us have fun, dog. I'm like, y'all sit on Twitter and talk about stuff about everything that you all feel. Why can't we make a video on it? Why does everything have to be for views? We just have fun. Why can't it be for both? We can just talk, and you know what I'm saying? We can just talk and have fun.
That's a really good point. I think it transitions into our next and final topic on this. What do you want for the future of Pokemon? I just want community unity. I don't want people to be as much of a dicks as they've been over the last couple of years. I feel like it's just gotten worse and worse.
Now, this is what, I asked you this question before. I was really confused on this, because I was really confused as to, did you mean the games, the community, the franchise? Obviously, Pokemon will continue to grow. It just will.
Yeah.
It's already a humongous giant as is.
And if I say, what do you want for the future of the games, you're going to say Gen 4 remakes.
Oh, of course.
See?
I want you to know,
there, it's answered. All right, we can move on.
I want you to know when those games get announced, I'm turning into you. I'm making nothing but videos. It's time. I'm excited.
Okay. The underground and pretty Pokemon balls. I need my ball capsules back, man.
Oh my god, dude. I need all that. I think the one thing that I have regarding Pokemon Diamond and Pearl remakes, I just pray they don't take anything out. Just make it better, please.
Mm-hmm.
Just make everything better, because 4th gen, I feel like 4th gen is just such an experience in itself. There's so much you could take from that generation and just make it better. Everybody talks about Diamond and Pearl being slow, or everybody talks about, like, Diamond and Pearl not being what Platinum is. Well, obviously it's the third version of a, obviously, but it's like, okay, cool. Let's just make it better. Let's make everything better.
Like Heart Gold, Soul Silver. That game's perfection.
Those games are flawless, amazing. If you want to put Cyrus in more spots, let's do it. Add more personality to the admins, let's do it. Put Cynthia somewhere early game, let's do it.
Yeah.
Like there's so much they can do with those games. Oh my god.
Like, add that Pokemon generation spin to it, because like with the Team Aqua, Team Magma, you get so much more about the villains in just that 3-minute short than you do with like the whole games. So spinning that lore into the games and the remakes a little harder. Yeah. So I mean, like I said, we could just talk about the future Pokemon, just Gen 4 remakes forever. What do you want for, like, just community, future health, all that stuff,
Well, since you covered recent events, I already don't have to talk about that.
Okay, one thing really quick. My
What's up?
friends, all my friends, they loved the way that you covered the recent events as well. They're like, huh, it's pretty, like, because, I feel Let's Plays get tired out for a while. They're all tired out of Let's Plays, so they kind of avoid that content. But like, man, I really like Sacred when he's being real.
I got to. It's unfortunately, unfortunately, and it really does suck. Because I was really close to everybody that was involved. It sucks when people who you thought were real upfront to you just weren't, and it's like
Verlisify's right.
I mean, if you're right, you're right. It hurts. It really does hurt.
Yeah, I get that. It kind of probably a bad time to throw in that joke.
No,
it hurts so much.
It's fine. It hurts knowing that basically a lot of our content was around each other and we didn't know the skeletons in our closet. When I thought we were all just regular people, just regular, content creators just uploading and we go out to trips and whatever and that'd just be good. But come to find out, here's all this stuff that's been going on for years. And me on my side, I'm like, wow. I don't want to associate with none of this. I'm like, this isn't why I come to YouTube. This isn't why I make videos. This isn't why this just isn't why I'm on the internet. This isn't why I'm making friends on here. Like this, I'm not here to take advantage of people.
So do you feel that like passively hurt the Pokemon community and maybe even your own reputation? If people are seeing, like, if people were thinking Nappy was like being a manipulator or they there was something fishy going on, because I always had that feeling, and that kind of made me feel, off about everyone in the squad because of that. Do you think that was something that a lot of people might have had, that if they didn't like Nappy, kind of snowballed into everyone else, and then that kind of split the community?
That actually is what happened.
Yeah.
When people for the longest, they've always felt some type of way towards Nappy because obviously he was the bigger channel. Only a few select people knew about the Callum situation.
Yeah,
and
definitely that
stuff. Anyway, so everybody already kind of just had a distaste towards Nappy just off of who he was as a person.
Yeah, I'm just like, this guy seems like he's trying to really scoop up as much money by using everyone under him, and I don't like that.
Well, yeah, I guess people just found him as a good content creator because he made content. People love him. People love the content, so they like him. So it's whatever. So I think people obviously, I feel like envy played a big part in it. I feel like not being a part of anything obviously made people feel some type of way, and just like not, I guess, just being involved, especially when Lumio Station went kind of downhill. I guess people just had that vendetta towards Nappy, so it was kind of hard to like talk to, because people sometimes, like, unless I speak about it, people like always thought that I had a dislike towards them, and I'm like, why? I'm like, whoa, I've never spoken to you a day in my life. And they're like, oh, because you talk to them. I'm like, wait a minute, huh? And then you find out like people have issues, and I'm like, I'm unaware. I'm so distant towards, I guess, drama, unless it's like involving me, that everything comes as a surprise. All this that happened recently was just alarming to me. I didn't know how to handle that. It took me a couple of days to make that video. I was like, oh my goodness. And then, I sit there and unfortunately, I have to gain subscribers under the trash circumstances. But I mean, people put that faith in me to not be that person or not be that way. So it's like, it's a benefit, but at the same time, it's under trash circumstances. I don't want to sit here and grow off of, my ex-friend being like a weirdo. And then at the same time, growth is growth. It's healthy. So I guess it sucks. It really does suck. But my thing now is, how are we going to move forward? And, this interview that we're doing now, is 2 weeks worth of us talking. We, like, for those who don't know, we have a whole Discord where it's just us talking. We've talked about every single thing that has transpired within the last like 6 years.
Yeah, we're trying to get cool with everyone because I think that's the big takeaway. Is like, we all need to be real with each other, because not being real with each other is what put us in this situation, is really like split things open. Because like you were saying, it's like, wait, I've never talked to you. What do you have against me? Because people were just like not being open about everything. Yeah, people weren't talking. People weren't going on about that. So now that we've done that, it's like, all right, hopefully this is like going to do
the wake up call for a lot of people. And I think.
And one thing I do hope, really quick, is I hope it does go into the content as well. That's not just about, mindlessly shoving out videos or just kind of like getting into the group thing for the group thing and just kind of going along with it. You know, just kind of like keep individuality and keep that Pokemon passion. I think that was another wake up call because like everyone just kind of sleeping and doing their thing and letting everything just kind of happen as it did. And now it's like, oh, let's try to like reestablish how we got here, why we're here, and then make it for the best as we go into like Sword and Shield and the rest of the Pokemon games.
Well, of course, because what people have to understand is like, you know, like I was put into perspective by my friend when all this stuff actually happened. It was like, you know, every new game, the community gets bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger, and you know, all this shady stuff is happening behind the scenes that nobody knows about. It's like, you know, what if it happens to the next kid that comes out or blows up in the next year or so? And, you know, they have to hide behind, you know what I'm saying? The whole, oh, this happened to me years after the fact. And it's like, dang, you know, we gotta come together. We have to, you know, make sure that the community as a whole, even if we don't even mess with each other personally, we have to make sure that like it's a safe place where none of this stuff can happen ever again.
Yeah,
because that's just wrong. Yeah, you got to be good. And you know, I always thought about it. I'm like, you know how embarrassing this has to be for somebody on the outside looking in, and they're like, oh, I didn't know this Pokemon. You know, Pokemon community was like this. It's like, no, we're not. Sorry, you know, it's just a couple bad apples. Calm down. You know, just chill out. It's not the entire community. It's just a couple. We're weeding them out, obviously. But it's like, oh my God. Like, I've seen so many non-Pokemon channels cover this type of thing. I've seen a lot of people talk about this.
Yeah. Well, I feel like Mr. Medicator, when he did the Bulbapedo forum thing, and then he like kept up on this, like, you know, a lot of the community was just waiting for that next outing. Kind of like Minecraft, you know, outside looking in with me on Minecraft, like, when's Keem's next video about the next Minecraft pedo or something? And it's like, wait, that just happened to us. Oh my God, that's us now. No, it's Pokemon.
Sucks too. That's what really sucks too, because everybody, you know, I look a lot. I was looking around through a lot of these responses, and it was like, oh, it's Pokemon. What do you expect? What do you expect? I'm like, that doesn't make it right, huh? Like, what's
no? I think their idea on that is like, you know, it's adults playing kids game. Of course, they're going to want to diddle them, you know?
Exactly, and I'm like, that still doesn't make it like that. Still shouldn't. You know, if I'm an adult playing a Pokemon game, a child's game, it's like I should, if anything, be not a role model, but be like a safe, it's a safe haven. Like I don't want nobody to be taken advantage of. In my own Discord, I tell everybody, I'm like, look, we're not gonna do any of this harassing stuff. The misogynistic stuff is not happening. None of this stuff is going on. None of this is happening. If there's an issue, let me know about it, because I don't want to sit here and raise a community and raise an environment where people feel like they're being shunned for being themselves.
All right. I think that's a good way to end it, because that last segment actually dragged on a bit, but I think it's what needed to be said for sure. Because I'd imagine that, like, when you made your video, then, like, the other guy came out, so there's probably a lot more that you have to say and be like, oh, it was even worse than that, you know? So
it's way worse, dude.
Yeah, exactly. So with all that, it's like, yeah, wrapping it up, trying to keep it going. What are you going to take from this and just be like, and moving on? Like, what content are we looking forward to? How much hype you got? What's the change up now?
The change up now is just to redefine everything, how it's done. You know, the content, there was nothing wrong with the content. It was how much effort was put into it, I feel. People always talk about, oh, this is boring, but they're like, you know, people are too afraid to change and take risk and everything. And I feel like now is probably the best time to take risk and like change up how you do the content, because people are watching now, whether it's negative from the obvious pedophilic stuff or it's the Sword and Moon boom. You know, people are watching now, and your channel might just be that.
All right.
For some people.
I definitely see that, because yeah, it's like someone's coming negative and and they actually enjoy your video. That's going to be a very positive takeaway. So
exactly,
more weight going into content. I think that's something that just, you know, we should respect a bit more, and that's what I've been saying for years now. But I'm glad to see that it's kind of all picking up. You know, this is. I think we had to hit rock bottom before we could rebound. I think it happened at kind of the perfect time in between Pokemon Sword and Shield trailers. We're kind of like regrouping now, and this means that we have the opportunity to make Pokemon bigger than it's ever been, instead of it happening at like a different time. Yeah.
I'm excited, dude. I'm excited
Awesome.
for the future. I'm excited for content. I just hope everybody is cool. At the end of the day, I just hope everybody's cool.
Great way to end it. Hope you all enjoy the video. Have a nice day. Thanks for watching.
Bye.